Welcome back, dear children. So in the last video we have discussed about liquid pressure as well as the characteristics of liquid pressure. So now we will consider the consequences of liquid pressure. Okay, what are the consequences of liquid pressure? In the case of dams, okay, I hope you have seen dams. So the bottom portion of the dams will be thicker, and when it comes to the top it becomes somewhat narrow. Have you noticed that? Dams are constructed in such a way that it will be broad at the bottom, and when it comes upward it will be narrow. So what is the reason? Pressure increases with depth. So actually water is stored in the dams, isn't it? So when the depth increases, liquid pressure increases. So the pressure under water is so high. Okay, so in order to withstand that high pressure, the bottom of the dams are made thicker. Now another one, in the divers, sea divers usually wear special suits. Have you noticed that? Sea divers usually wear special suits. The reason is, when you go deep, the pressure is so high that it can even crush a human being. The pressure inside the body is so high that it can even crush a human being. Okay, how can we withstand the pressure? We have the blood pressure inside our body and atmospheric pressure outside, and since these two things gets balanced, we can survive. Okay, so when you are going deep underwater, there we have the liquid pressure from the outer part and blood pressure inside the body. But there, when you are going to a greater depth, what happens to the liquid pressure? It is so high, and that cannot be balanced by the blood pressure present inside our body. So what happens? Our body can be crushed. Okay, so is it clear? Now one more is there. One more application is mentioned in your textbook, that is, where are we actually keeping the water tanks in our house? Will we keep it on the ground? No. Water tanks are always placed at a greater height. What is the reason? If the height increases, the pressure will be more and water will come out of the taps with a great pressure. If the water tanks are not placed at a greater height, means only some water, that is, the force of water which comes out of the tap will be less. Okay, so when the height of the liquid column increases, liquid pressure increases. Okay, it doesn't mean that when height increases, pressure increases. Never write like that. Okay, actually when height increases, height means altitude. When altitude increases, pressure decreases, and when depth increases, pressure increases. Here, in the case of water tanks, we are considering the height of this liquid column. Okay, so when if the you are keeping the water tanks at a greater height, because the pressure exerted, the pressure will be more if the height of the liquid column is more. Or you can use the statement, pressure increases with depth. Okay, so is it clear about the three consequences? Which are they? First one, in the case of dams, the bottom portion of the dams will be made thicker. Second one, divers wear special suits. Third one, water tanks are kept at a greater height because the pressure of the water coming out of the tap will be more if the height of the liquid column is more. Clear? Now, another important property of liquids was found by the scientist Blaise Pascal, and it is known as Pascal's law. Okay, another important property of liquids was found by Blaise Pascal, and it is known as Pascal's law. According to Pascal's law, pressure exerted at any point on a confined liquid is transmitted equally and uniformly in all the directions. That is, when you are exerting pressure on a liquid which is taken in a closed container, that force or the pressure exerted gets transmitted equally in all the directions. Okay, so it's very important. You will study in detail about Pascal's law in 9th standard. Okay, so now you just study the law. According to Pascal's law, pressure exerted at any point on a confined liquid gets transmitted equally and uniformly in all the directions. When you are exerting pressure on one part of a liquid, it gets transmitted equally in other parts. Okay, and this is the working principle of most of the hydraulic machines. Okay, do you know what are hydraulic machines? In which liquid or water is used. Okay, so hydraulic machines work on the principle of Pascal's law. So three applications of Pascal's law is given there. So here they have just mentioned about the application, and you will study it in detail in 9th standard. Okay, so three applications are given: hydraulic lift, hydraulic jack, and hydraulic press. Okay, hydraulic press or hydraulic, it is hydraulic brake. Okay, hydraulic brake, hydraulic press. It is known as hydraulic press or Bremmer press. Then hydraulic jack. Hydraulic jack is usually used in garages or the workshop to lift heavy vehicles. So to lift heavy vehicles, we are using hydraulic jack. I think you have seen hydraulic jacks. Have you? Actually, this consists of hydraulic machine. Usually, hydraulic machine consists of two cylinders. Okay, two cylinders will be there. The area of one cylinder will be more than the area of the other one. Then it will be having two pistons. Okay, so this will be the structure of a hydraulic machine. Two cylinders will be there, and these two cylinders will be connected. The bottom part of these two cylinders will be connected. Then on the top you will be having two pistons, piston P1 as well as P2. So this is the structure of a general structure of a hydraulic machine. Okay, so two cylinders, area of one cylinder will be more than the other one. This is A1, this is A2. Area is more for cylinder, the second cylinder. Then two pistons are there. Now, if you want to lift a car or a vehicle, that will be placed on the piston of the bigger cylinder. Okay, two cylinders are there. So, on the piston of the bigger cylinder, we will keep the object which has to be raised. Then, here we will exert a small pressure. That is a small force acting per unit area is pressure. So a small pressure will be exerted on this. This piston will be pushed downward. Only a small force is needed there. So force acting per unit area is pressure. And here, the main thing I didn't say, inside this we have liquid. Okay, water or some other liquid will be there. So here you will be exerting a small force. This small pressure exerted on the smaller piston gets transmitted through this liquid, and then it will act on the piston P2 and it gets raised. Okay, so a small force or pressure exerted on the smaller piston gets transmitted through this fluid and it will lift the bigger piston. So the object or the vehicle which is kept on the bigger one gets raised. So we will study it in detail in 9th standard. Okay, so what you have to remember about this, when you are exerting a small pressure on a liquid, it gets transmitted equally in all the directions. Here I have exerted only a very small pressure, but it gets transmitted through this, and since the area of the cylinder here is more, the pressure exerted on this piston will be high. So this is a hydraulic jack. Similarly, we are having hydraulic press. Hydraulic press is actually used in order to press cotton bales. Cotton, to take cotton from the cotton seed, then to take sugarcane juice. For all these things we are using a hydraulic press. Okay, then another one is hydraulic brake. So in vehicles we are having hydraulic brake or air brake. Hydraulic brake works with the Pascal's law. So when you are applying force, actually how will you apply brake? You will be applying brake on the pedal, isn't it? So when you press there, then that small force or the pressure gets transmitted to all the four wheels. There you are having the oil, isn't it? It is a fluid. It is not compulsory that we need water. Any fluid can be there. So the small pressure which is applied on the foot pedal will be transmitted through that oil and it reaches all the four wheels and the vehicle stops. So that also it is, you will learn it in detail in 9th standard. Okay, so now you should know what is Pascal's law plus the three applications. When you are applying force on a confined liquid, it gets transmitted equally into pressure. Okay, pressure gets transmitted equally in all the directions. Then hydraulic machines works on the principle of Pascal's law. We have hydraulic jack, hydraulic press as well as hydraulic brake. Okay, so with this we completed the theory portion related to liquid pressure, and the next one is about air pressure or atmospheric pressure. Now children, please take your textbook. I'll tell you about the homework questions and we'll do few numericals. Clear? So please take page number 46. Page number 46. In that, question number, under the section E, answer in brief, question number 6, 7, 8 and 9, homework. Question number 6, 7, 8 and 9. Question number 7 is an application based question. Get the answer. Okay. Question number 7. For 6, 8 and 9, answer is directly given in your textbook. Now under the heading F, question number 7. Discuss one application of Pascal's law with the help of a diagram. So you write about hydraulic jack. Okay. Then question number 9, state the characteristics of liquid pressure. No need to write the activities. I just need all the 5 properties or characteristics. Okay, so these are the homework questions for you. I'll repeat once again. Under section E, question number 6, 7, 8 and 9. Under section F, question number 7 and 9. Okay, now take the notebook. We will do the numericals. Okay, numericals, question number 1. So you can write the question, children, and after that you can do it. Okay. What will be the pressure exerted by a force of 70 Newton acting on an area of 2 meters square? Okay. So in the case of numericals, already I told you, first thing is to read the question twice or thrice, then write what all quantities are given in the question, then write the equation. After that you can solve it. Okay. So what will be the pressure exerted? That means what should you calculate here? We need the pressure. Then by a force of 70 Newton, force is given as 70 Newton acting on an area is given as 2 meters square. So for such questions, the first thing what you have to keep in mind is check the unit. All the units should be in the same system. Okay. So Newton is in SI system. Newton SI unit, meter square is also SI unit. So since both the things are given in SI system, we can directly do it. So what is the equation to calculate pressure? Pressure is equal to force by area or thrust by area. So it is 70, area is 2. So what will be our answer? 70 divided by 2, which is equal to 35. And what about the unit for pressure? it is from here it is Newton per meter square or Pascal. So either you can write capital P and small a, or Newton, since meter square comes in the denominator, Newton per meter square, or Nm raised to minus 2. Okay, so this is what you have to keep in mind. So is it clear? And one more thing I want to say, when you are writing the unit, if the unit is named after a scientist, if you are writing the simple, you can use capital. But if you are writing the full name, it should be in small letter. Newton. If you are writing Newton, N should be in small letter. Units are always written in small letter unless if you are writing the simple of a unit which is named after a scientist. Okay. In all the other cases, it should be in small letters. So, I think it is clear for you. Now, question number 2. A boy weighing 550 Newton. So, what is that? A boy weighing 550 Newton means force. Newton is the unit for force. So, 550 Newton has each foot with an area of 100 centimeters square. Okay, so area of 1 foot is given as how much? 100 centimeter square. This is the area of 1 foot. Okay, so force is given, area of 1 foot is given. Now, what is the pressure between him and the ground if he stands on both feet? Area of 1 foot is given. If he stands with 2 feet, what will be the pressure exerted? So what should we do here? We have to find the area of both, isn't it? So now it is with 1 foot. We want to find the area of the feet, both feet. Okay, so area of both feet is equal to, for 1 feet it is 100 centimeter square, for 2 feet it will be 200, isn't it? 200 centimeters square. So I think it is clear. With 1 foot it is 100, one more foot is there, so 100 plus 100, which is equal to 200 centimeters square. Now is it complete? Should we do something more here? Yes. Why? Because force is given in Newton, whereas area is given in centimeters square. Centimeter square is the CGS unit, so we should convert this into SI system. So how will we convert? So centimeter to meter, what should you do? Always keep in mind, smaller to bigger means which operation should you do? Smaller to bigger means you should divide. Bigger to smaller means you should multiply. That is what first we need. Now, it is centimeter. Centimeter to meter means smaller to bigger. Smaller to bigger means surely it is division, isn't it? Smaller to bigger is division. Now, you should check the relation. What is the relation connecting centimeter and meter? 100 centimeter makes 1 meter, isn't it? So, you have to divide with 100. That is in the case of centimeter and meter. What is given here? It is not centimeter, it is centimeter square, isn't it? So, centimeter square to meter square. What should you do? Centimeter to meter means divide with 100. Centimeter square to meter square means twice 100 will come. 100 into 100 you have to do. Okay. And if it is with centimeter to meter means you are dividing with 100. Centimeter square means actually it is centimeter into centimeter. That means 100 into 100. So what should you do? Divide with how much? 100 into 100 is 10,000. So please write this, put it inside a box. Okay. Centimeter to meter means you are dividing with 100 because 100 centimeters make 1 meter. Since it is centimeter square to meter square, centimeter square means centimeter into centimeter. So what should you do? You have to divide it with 10,000, 100 into 100, which is 10,000. So the answer will be 200 divided by 10,000. Okay, 200 divided by 10,000. Shall I cancel something from here? It is 2 divided by 100. So we will keep it as such, isn't it? 2 by 100. Let it be 2 by 100 meter square. Now it's easy. We are asked to calculate the pressure, isn't it? Pressure is equal to force by area. How much is the force? 550. How much is the area? Area is 2 by 100. I have cancelled the 2 zeros. Okay. Now here we have a fraction in the denominator. If a fraction comes in the denominator, what should you do? Take the reciprocal and multiply, isn't it? So this will become 100 by 2. Okay. So once again, force is pressure by area. Pressure is force by area. Force is 550. Area we have obtained it as 200 by 10,000. 2 zeros gets cancelled. So it is 2 divided by 100. Now, since a fraction came in the denominator, you have to take the reciprocal. So it is 550 into 100 by 2. Okay. So this 2 and shall I, which one should I cancel? Shall I cancel this? That will be easy. Else we have to multiply, no? It's easy to multiply with 100. So 550 and 2. If it was 500, half is 250. Then 50 more is there. Half of 50 is 25. So 250 plus 25, which is equal to 200. Shall I write it here? 275. Then 2 zeros. So 2 lakh. How many zeros are there? Only 2 zeros, no? So 27,500 Pascal is the answer. Okay. 550 and 2 gets cancelled. 500. Half of 500 is 250. Half of 50 is 25. So 250 plus 25 is 275 plus these 2 zeros. So the answer is 27,500 Pascal. So is it clear? This much will be the pressure exerted when he is standing on 2 legs. Okay. Okay children. So we will continue in the next class. So please write the question answers plus these 2 numericals in your notebook and upload in the Google Classroom. Okay. So thank you children.